Digital workplace where we are looking at some products and items that we can review to see, is this a digital workplace and how well does it function? Today we have Vijay back on the show. Hey, Vijay.
Hi, Neil. Nice to be doing this again.
Yes, of course. We are missing Vonda today. She's getting ready for a big event, so we gave her the day off. But we appreciate her perspective and look forward to more with her later. But we wanted to really get to this product called Friday.
Mhm.
So Friday calls itself a homepage for your company. There's a lot of different terminology. It's here. Here they say get the entire company on the same page. In general, how did you find out about Friday, Vijay? What are your first impressions of it?
I quite liked it. I think this is a product that I've been hearing about on Twitter, so I was very excited to be trying this out.
Yeah, so we actually did a podcast with Luke Thomas, who's the founder and CEO. The first thing I was struck with was like, oh, Friday, it's trying to do something on Monday, which changed its name a few years ago. So initially, the name was like, oh, I don't know exactly what to think of this. But the more we got into it, to be very honest, this is the first product that I got a little bit excited about to use on a personal level. Not necessarily for personal work, but it's like, oh, I could use this for my work was my first thought going into it.
Yeah, it's definitely a well thought out product, and it's from a product perspective, there has been a lot of thought that has gone into making this thing.
Yep. So definitely check out our podcast with Lee, get a little bit more of the background behind his thinking behind it. I'll mention a few things he said as well, but let's actually get into the product. We'll go back and revisit some of the pricing and other things before later. But yeah, here's what the homepage looks like. It says they want to be a homepage for your organization and your company. So that's what they've said, to be able to say, okay, here's the essentials of what you need to see from your work. We'll just go through this homepage. It's in progress. Assuming I've connected it to my Google Calendar, so you're seeing everything that's here. I can look at the rest of the day, what's coming up. Tasks are individual tasks. I've connected this with Todoist, but you can also just add your own tasks here and refresh some things. It's there. Then it says today at the digital workplace. You can add all sorts of widgets, this is a newer feature they've added in, and I really like it. Here's an employee map where you can see where people are located. Here's like you can do your goal setting, so you can see what's there. So these are all, we'll organize these later, but these are all the types of widgets you can do: post, goals, icebreakers, milestones, kudos, company events, all sorts of interesting things you can bring in here. This kind of customization is pretty cool. Vijay, your thoughts on the homepage?
Yeah, I think I always like it when companies allow the homepage to be customized, because you can kind of tweak that a little bit, and everybody seems to have a very different style of working in terms of like what do they want to be reminded by, what are the kind of things that they want to be updated with, and when the first thing that when they open up work and the kind of information that they see, what are the kind of things that are relevant for them depending on their style of work. That we see a lot of these products which actually have a very hard and fast rule about, okay, these are the 7 things that you need to see. So companies like these, which actually allow you flexibility to, move things around and customize it, is definitely a welcome.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to think about that I could like create my own homepage, and that somebody else on my team can create their own homepage, and we don't have to be looking at the same thing, but are sharing the same information. Is really cool. Let's see. Some of these status reports were interesting. Another way to bring in more of a asynchronous nature to work. So here's something I think we've set up, just a little bit of a check-in. Just says, what did you accomplish this week? Did a review. Let you know who's going to see this. What are your priorities for next week? Write some articles. Anything else you'd like to share? Nope. All good. Yeah, and this you can see over here, you're seeing a way to attach work. So if you did work over in Jira or GitHub or wherever it is that you were in, you could attach that, which that's pretty cool. Yay. And that comes through. You can see everyone else's report. So again, this is a great way to think about asynchronous work. If you have somebody doing this once a week, they just kind of give these updates. Then when you do meet on a weekly basis or whatever it is, you don't need to go through all this. You can just read everyone's updates as it goes through. Did you experiment with this a lot, Vijay?
Yeah, quite honestly, I think this is quite nice. Technically, it removes the whole point of the Friday stand-up meeting to kind of conclude the day as to what was done. And this is quite a useful feature. I think I think the whole concept of check-in, we can also, a lot of the digital workplace platforms now allow your bots to be set up. So I know that we have been playing around with some of the other digital workplace tools, taking these check-in kind of a concept and implementing it into the bots and seeing whether it actually works. But there is something about the way that this is designed that actually makes it easier and a lot more intuitive. The fact that there is a feed, so people can actually scroll through it. I think all of that is quite useful.
Yeah, definitely. I like that a lot. Let's see. Finish up. There wasn't much else on the homepage. And again, you customize it for whatever else you want. Planner is looking at it. Bringing in the sequence of things. Even gives you the weather, man. How much more can you ask for than somebody telling you what the weather's like, where everything's going in? Pretty cool. Like we said, we were looking at the feed earlier, which you can make a unique post here. Give a suggestion. I know your favorite is always the poll thing, Vijay, which is missing here. Hopefully they'll add that in soon. But this is, just a nice way to add some thoughts to the team. If you want to have an asynchronous discussion, put up something here and then let people come through as they want.
Yeah, I was looking at the post feature. The only thing that when I clicked on the post feature, it kind of does the same thing that Twist, for example, kind of did, right? It presumes that you're going to be doing a long format content rather than anything in short bursts. So, the minute it basically, you give me something saying title and then there is a body section, I'm gearing up for a long, elaborate, prose mode. And I know that there were a couple of times when I basically went and post and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what to say here. So I just closed it, right? But the thing is that this platform doesn't really actually have an option for short bursts of communication. There is no chat. There is no one-on-one. So I think considering that there is a feed feature, I think it will be useful if they did allow people to kind of do small things like polls, for example. But I think that thread of conversations that I really like with Twist, I think that bit is all missing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is something unique. I think he's intentionally left out chat. That was a conscious decision for them. I don't know how well they'll keep that going forward. I think it's something where you can integrate that in.
So if you look at the philosophy, right? When you go to their website, I think the title page essentially says the digital HQ for work from anywhere. So if you're a remote team, and I believe that the Friday team is remote, and I think it makes a lot of sense because you kind of see this the philosophy of working remote, through and through in this product, right? But it's quite. I don't know about they use the term work digital HQ. I think that term is a little bit of a loaded term. I would basically say that this is a great tool to basically get your entire team. I don't know at what point this is basically going to get overcrowded. If there are 100 people and everybody's posting the check-in statuses, am I going to be able to see that? Can I actually break them into squads and stuff like that? I think it would be interesting to see how that actually pans out. But if you're a team of 20 and you're a startup and you're using this tool to kind of work from home or work from anywhere, and you're just checking in and everybody's driven by themselves, I think it's a great product. But I would probably call this a work hub rather than a digital HQ, because in my mind, digital HQ has a lot more things like collaboration, productivity, and all those things have to be baked in.
All right, quick rapid fire definitions. What is a work hub for you?
Anything that is essentially a centralized source of truth for the entire team to kind of keep track of what are the work that they're doing, what are the work that is meant to be done. So overall goal management plus individual level activities to be managed on a single platform.
Mm-hmm. And how does that compare to a digital HQ?
So a digital HQ in my mind is an alternative word for digital workplace. So I would probably use those two terms in, substitute one for the other. I think that the 5 components that I would see in a digital workplace and a digital HQ is, well, you're trying to get everything done in an office space that used to be done, in a digital space environment that used to be done in an office, right? And you've written quite a bit about that. There is quite a high bar in terms of so you have to translate culture from offline culture to digital culture. A whole bunch of things need to come and play, which essentially means that this tool has to be owned not just by the CXOs who are basically driving the goals, but also by the culture team, the HR team, and all those, the rest of the team members to basically make sure that the organization works together. So learning, productivity, all of those things have to be built into this thing. So I think there is a little bit of a high bar. So the 5 basic modules that I would basically say is that work hub, employee engagement, productivity, collaboration, communication. So at least these 5 things have to be there.
Yeah, I like the idea of a work hub being like the central place where you can go and just check in and get all the information you need. And then for something to be a digital HQ or a digital workplace, really depends on how often am I going out of this platform. So if I actually want to work on a project, I got to go somewhere else. I can go here to check in to see, hey, how are our goals doing, which is nice, to be able to have, it's not too confusing. There's not a lot here, but if I want to say, hey, I need to actually work on these speaking invitations and go to it, where is that project? The details behind it is going to be pretty low on what I can do here. I need a link to go to, a Trello board or Asana or something like that to come in. So yeah, that makes sense.
The integrations are there. A fair bit of the integrations are there, and you get like an overview of what is happening where.
Yep.
But yeah, if you have a document that you're working with Google, I know that G Suite is not the most open API that you can integrate in a very fluid manner. But nevertheless, having that attempt, because I think some of the other platforms are taking a shot at it.
Yep. One part about Friday I really want to emphasize is that I feel like what they've done is a really nice job of recognizing that work is not one thing. Work is many different things, and those essential objects of what work is need to be accommodated for. In the sense of it's hard to do good work as a team without some kind of common goal. Whether that be a number or an event or some kind of OKR you've set up. But if we've looked at other platforms that are, maybe more project management centric, it's hard to incorporate those goals into a project management board. You can do it, but it just doesn't feel natural. Similarly, the other things that you're going to see here, like a check-in, like how would you incorporate check-in into an OKR system? I don't know. It's a little bit different. So you want a different system to handle that. Or if you want to look at your, for example, I have a handbook here where you can put in your company values, where you can add certain things. I assume you could use this for onboarding if you wanted to just say, hey, here's a post about how we handle paid time off or something like that. You could probably set all that up in here and put that in. That's there. This company employee map is pretty cool, though, to see how things are going too. But anyway, back to the main point of seeing the essential nature of different things, and even the fact of like an event is a different type of thing. They're all connected, but they have these events that come in. It's very interesting.
Yeah, the thing I like about this is that everything that has been included here is beautifully done. It's like 100% clean execution. I couldn't find a single thing which I saw that you know what, that's kind of hacked big. It's halfway there. I think the feature that essentially takes this tool singing is the check-in feature. Partly because of the fact that it is repetitive, which basically means that the whole aspect of, hey, who's going to convene this team meeting and all those things goes away. A certain amount of cadence and rhythm actually starts working inside the project all by itself, because there is a repetitive thing that is actually triggering, right? And the answers that you provide, and you can decide, when you want to do this. Do you want to do this on a Friday? Do you want to do this on a Monday? All of those things can be set up. And the answers that, comes up from there essentially gives place for triggers as to where you want to intervene and things like that. So from that point of view, it's good. But it goes back to the next question, right? So where do you intervene? There is no place here. So then you have to go switch back to another communication platform to do
Yep. Yeah, I'm just examining a little bit more of these status reports. A lot of cool features here in terms of, I mean, one, you're picking which questions you want to ask. You're picking who it's going to go to, and you're picking how they're going to get it, how often they're going to get it. I mean, this is really basically everything you could ask for when it comes to something like a check-in question, which again is another. It's like in place of a meeting, so it's pretty essential, especially for a distributed team, to be able to have these types of things. I like the fact that, like you said, it's well done, it's well executed, but they also have some pretty cool experimental stuff they're working on. In terms of, I mean, I basically enabled everything here, but bringing in these icebreaker questions. I mean, I'm Vijay knows how big of a fan I am of icebreakers and check-in questions. So the fact that these are here, and he even thought of that as being an essential part of work is great. The planner, the goals, the reports, the handbook, all these kind of custom profiles, being able to share what you want to about yourself is really cool. Integrations, you can see obviously most of the major tools people use are here. So this is good to see that they're thinking already of understanding you have to be able to integrate with these tools if you're going to work well. When we integration, it's not like a very robust type thing. Like here even within Slack, you're going to get those check-in notifications over a DM, and you might be able to send a kudo. So it's pretty limited, but it's still there, and you can use it.
Yeah, I mean, the current scenario that it is right now, where everybody's kind of walled off and being protective of their turfs, there is really no easy way to kind of do that fluid integration into one to another. Unfortunately, I think we're going to actually have to open multiple windows and multiple tools to basically achieve this.
Yeah.
Which also means that you're going to be paying all those companies also paying extra for it. So the stack cost adds up.
That's true. Very much all the other widgets that we've experimented with, a couple new things, like this is great. This is something that I've seen even in companies I've worked with. They all want to share like somebody's birthday or somebody's work anniversary, but that's a big manual task that has to be done. If you can get an automated way to put that in, then it automatically comes up. You share it with people. It's great. I mean, this is built by somebody who runs a company and understands all the things that need to be there. Some new coming up for them, pulling in revenue data.
Once again, I think this is going to be great for a small team that is a high performance team. I honestly don't know. Like if you're a 300 people, 400 people company, and birthdays are coming up, so the minute I actually see some of these features from social media starting to creep in, my alarm bells always goes off saying that where is it going to go? Somebody is posting happy birthday. Now somebody is basically feeling obligated to say something, even though I don't know that person. And is that really helping me build a relationship with that person? I honestly have no idea. Right?
Yep.
So yeah, but on the other scale, if you're talking about employee engagement as a module, these are all interactions which can actually help build trust, because fundamentally that's where you're coming down to. But is this really helping to build trust? I don't know. So you have to think through some of these things, especially when you're copying from social media for engagement and automated posting like this.
Definitely. Big things. And I think the scaling question is good. Like you said, Friday would be awesome for a team between 20 up, maybe up to 100. I think would get a lot of value out of this. Once you start building out, you have like many dozens of teams going on. It could get a little chaotic to figure out where things are, and it'll be interesting to see how they grow, if they embrace that and try to build those, or if they kind of just stick to the smaller, more manageable teams that are there.
I have a feeling at some point they will include a module that you can kind of set up teams, and there's going to be a team level feed and things like that, like we have seen in some of the other products. Because the minute there is I remember that there's a company which basically sees all its employees on all the emails, so that everybody is aware of what's going on, which kind of is beautiful when it's a 20 people company, because the person who's driving product is also probably wants to know what's happening on sales, whether something is closing or not. and if there is an issue that they need to fix immediately, right? But when you're a large company, all of those, people need focus, because
Yep.
reading through that information and digesting it essentially becomes overhead for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at in terms of the maturity of this landscape, is that when it comes to digital workplaces, I think if you're that 20 to 50 person team, there's a lot of cool options out there right now. And there's a lot of great things you can experiment with and really drive some pretty incredible stuff. I've not seen great things for that enterprise level, which I know is like, you're getting into intranets, you're getting into big types of things that are out there. So they're different solutions, but in terms of like these next generation solutions out there, it's hard to see where that gap's going to be crossed and how technology companies are going to do that.
Yeah, and I think in large companies, control is also a major issue, right? That starts playing in. So I don't know whether large companies are open with everybody. Well, I guess there have been a couple of attempts in some of the large companies trying to unify everybody and things like that. But yeah.
Yep. So Vonda's not here. She would ask, what's going to make somebody change what they're
Slack.
doing? Yeah, what makes somebody convert over from Slack to this? So how would you answer her question?
Yeah, you can't. I think if people are very, very happy with Slack, I think you are never going to be able to move anybody who's happy with Slack from Slack. I think there are some people who love the sensory overload that Slack provides, because I think there are also people who thrive in that environment of chaos, right? And somehow they're able to create order out of that and basically get work done. This is for people who are the rest of humanity, which basically requires a little bit of order in the way that they're doing things. And especially, I think if you're in this landscape where startups are starting to hire from across borders, and you might be doing nothing more than 2 weekly calls to kind of get a sense of what's happening. Some of the features that are baked in can actually cut down one of those calls, right? Which means more time to focus on work. And you have everything here that will keep your team productive, and to kind of like, if somebody falls off the radar for 2 weeks in a row, you kind of know that it's time to basically ping them and ask what's going on.
Yep. The most encouraging thing I have is that this is, it's being built by a remote team that is trying to solve their own problems. So, which is, always a good thing and a bad thing. They're going to have their own biases about what they have, but they're going to continue to try to find new ways to improve on it. So love that part. In terms of what makes somebody change, like, I think there's not really something you would be using that does all this all in once. Like, that's the unique thing about Fridays, that you're by nature going to be handling all this stuff with multiple tools. So it's going to come across as something new and something fresh that you haven't necessarily seen before. So you have some way to handle all these. You have your own calendar. You have maybe an OKR system. You have a thing for feeds and posts. You do something for check-ins, but it's unlikely you're finding one thing that does all those. So this is very much like a consolidation type thing. Like, either it's things are crazy and we need to find something that helps us with everything, which there's going to be some hurdles to jump over there, or this is a great thing if you have a new team that's starting off and want to establish some new things. I would definitely look at using this as a starter for a new team getting going.
Yeah, this is I think the 3 things that I really, really liked about this product is that the check-ins thing. Second thing, the planner is really, really well built. Some of the things about dedicated focus time, for example, right? And integrating with Google Calendar, that it's a 2-way sync. I think that's quite brilliant. Third thing I would basically say is that the goal part, right? Like the fact that you are integrating, because I know everybody is thinking about a goal management tool, but they don't want to go buy another dedicated OKR utility platform for that. So I think having some of these things in, so that when you're creating tasks, is automatically assigns to what does this help achieve, like which goal. I think that's quite helpful.
Yep. And I think it's worth it to say, like, even on our own team that we're working on, this was the first tool that I looked at, and I wanted to go beyond the experimental phase of just saying, hey, let's try it for a week. Now, okay, what's next? Let's actually run this out to the whole team. Let's get some better feedback. Let's see if we can actually use this. So, I mean, that's a big testament, I feel like.
Yeah.
A little bit of check here on where they're at in terms of pricing. They're still kind of in some early phases, but very much a manageable thing. Most things are in the free plan that you can get. Looks like to actually do a lot of their syncing between integrations, calendar, and things like that. Then they want, and the goals is here. But pretty nominal cost, I would say, for what they're offering. But again, at that 200 to max 100 people team, this is a pretty good offering. Good. All right. Anything else you want to close off on, Vijay?
Yeah, I whenever I basically lose this tab, whenever I open it, I have to go search for Friday app, and it basically sends me to Friday.app.com. Yeah, so that is a bit of an issue. I think the team should consider how they're going to tackle that issue, because this is Friday.app, whereas there is another company called Friday.app.com.
Yes.
So that's probably going to lose out on a lot of the word of mouth they're going to get, because somebody says Friday app. I think they are some other thing. Anyways, don't worry.
Yeah, we'll see how well the name sticks. Obviously, I don't know at what point they were already called Friday whenever Monday changed its name to Monday. So we'll see.
Yeah.
That's their call. Friday works for now, but I'm not loving it. So we'll see. Cool. All right. Well, this has been another edition of Digital Workplace Reviews. We look forward to having Vonda back for the next one. But Vijay,
Yes.
thanks for being a part of this.
Look forward.